I wanted to try and debunk something that paid speakers go through unnecessarily. They invest time and money unnecessarily. Let's say you're booking 5K up to 10K per keynote, and you're doing that sporadically. And now you want to turn speaking into more of a revenue engine for your business. What I see most people doing is investing unnecessarily in a glossy speaker reel, when really at their stage, clips of their talk is far better for an investment, and it's just as, if not more, effective for their stage. A speaker reel helps you scale an existing foundation of consistent paid speaking. So I would actually delay as long as you possibly can on investing in a speaker reel. The second thing I see a lot of people doing unnecessarily is they'll reach out to speaker bureaus. Now, I get it. It does feel a lot more sustainable to have an organization list you and sell you consistently to events that, maybe you didn't know existed. I think there's a few problems with that, though. Number one, and probably the biggest, is that speaker bureaus, their business model sort of precludes them from being a good partner to anybody who's not at a certain threshold of dollars per gig and total dollars per year, because they take a cut of your fees. So again, bureaus, kind of like speaker reels, I would say even more so than speaker reels, are interesting to do and possibly useful to do once you achieve scale. They help you manage that scale, continue that scale, maybe grow that scale. They are not great for getting you initial traction or for turning sporadic traction into a consistent pipeline. And so those are the two things I see most of all. And either of those things, again, can work in the right order or at the right stage. Instead, however, what I encourage speakers to do is to focus on how revenue actually happens, how to go from sporadic to sustainable and systematic. And that is the concept of a stage side lead. Go with me a second, because I'm about to share with you this hard truth, which is that speeches are sold backwards compared to other things that you've learned to sell in your career. So the stage side lead and then speeches are sold backwards. Let's start with stage side lead. The stage side lead is the lifeblood of the non-celebrity speaker. The stage side lead is the person or group that sees you speak today and then approaches you about speaking to their team, their event, their community. They close the fastest. They pay you the most. They platform you on their content, which gives you more opportunities downstream. They introduce you to key people if they don't have an event, or even if they do. They introduce you to key people. And they buy other things tangential to your speech. They'll buy your speech, but they'll also buy bulk boxes of your books. They'll buy your upsell of a workshop or breakout after your keynote. They'll buy seats in your course or whatever. Stage side leads are the highest value leads to a speaker and the lifeblood that keeps this going as a paid speaker. And they only happen when you recognize that speeches are sold backwards to other things. With almost everything you sell, I sell advisory services, I sell a cohort-based program. With those things, my marketing starts to build awareness and earn trust. My sales interactions turns that trust into dollars. And then once a contract is signed or a purchase is made, then and only then do you deliver, or do I deliver, the full product offering. Speaking flips this on its head. It's a completely inverted commercial model. So it ties people in knots. So they overinvest logically in the marketing first, but it's actually your product that goes first. Again, it's flipped. It's an inverse commercial model. When you give a talk today, you are giving your entire product to that room, and maybe even for free. Maybe you didn't get paid to speak, or maybe those people didn't pay you to speak. They are getting your full speech, and then they decide they want to buy it. So speaking happens, sustainable speaking anyway, happens backwards for the non-celebrity. So before you invest in things further from revenue, which again can help at the right stage, first invest in how you capture stage side leads. And there's a few things to do. If you picture like a radial chart, almost like a dartboard with a bullseye, the bullseye is your signature talk. That combination of your premise, that signature idea, and all the IP on top of that premise, your frameworks, your branded terminology, your signature stories. You take your IP and you press it into that talk, arranging it with the right structure and flow, the right content into that structure, and the right performance and delivery. All of those layers stack together to make up your signature talk. The signature talk is what does the work of driving leads and revenue. Again, it's backwards to other things. It's not a marketing problem. It's not a sales problem. If we pitch, we are pitching a gig, an event, a conference or an expo, or maybe a community group that has people in the room capable of hiring speakers. Like a big industry conference from a media company is a better pipeline filling gig than, say, speaking today at a closed door meeting for one brand where everybody works for the same brand. So if we're pitching, if we don't have any gig to start the flywheel, we specifically and strategically target potential pipeline feeding gigs. But we need the signature talk, the product, to be dialed in, not be an 80% of the way there product, because an 80% speech is a 20% business asset. And then we put the revenue generator on the stage in front of other people who then hire you or introduce you to people who can. The speech is sold backwards. So at the center of the bullseye, you start your process with the signature talk capable of generating leads. It is not just a creative exercise to nail your talk. It is sales infrastructure. It's a revenue engine more than a creative exercise. We want to love the craft. We need to honor the craft. You can't separate it, but it's not just a performance on a stage. It is your best marketing and sales tool. So that's the bullseye. And then the radial around it, the next layer you go to is what do you do before, during, and after a gig to maximize that opportunity, to capture more leads at higher rates that close faster, to capture great testimonials and great media clips, to get platformed elsewhere in your space on podcasts, to be quoted in other publications, etc. What do you do before, during, and after to honor and serve the event planners and that attendee base, that group of people who's eager to see you speak, and then for your business as well. So we go from the signature talk to the before, during, and after processes. And then out from there, we start investing in the marketing assets that people who are leads need to vet you. And by the way, the first and far and away the most important is video proof of you speaking. Not a reel, not at your stage, not yet. Let it happen later, invest in it later. But your clips, your proof. And if you have no video proof, do this, because this is better. You know I'm a good speaker just from this video, even though there's no crowd, I'm not on a stage, right? All you really need is a good mic. You don't even need a good light, because audio actually beats video for quality and perception in a video. It's a little counterintuitive. So we need the marketing assets that leads will use to quickly vet you. Third, on the website. So those are your foundations, the signature talk, the before, during, and after gig process, and then the initial foundational marketing assets that a lead will need to use to vet you and say, oh, I can book this person with confidence, or I can share them with other stakeholders to book them. Then we go to the outer rims of this process where you have the more traditional ideas of marketing and selling and networking and pitching and all of these things that we tend to start with to scale our speaking. And we're doing good things, but in the wrong order. We want to do the right things in the right order that actually leads to the right result. Stage side leads, which turn into both revenue and future leads. That is the game of being a paid speaker when you're not a mass media celebrity. It is all about stage side leads. And so the things you start with, your signature talk, your before, during, and after process for maximizing that talk when you give it, and then the marketing assets on your site that people will need or ask you for in order to close the deal, to convey, you can book me with confidence. We need those three things. And if we have no gig on the calendar, then and only then, we pitch strategically and in a targeted way to start the flywheel, to put that signature talk, that revenue generating entity in front of people who can then hire us, and the game persists. That's how it happens. Don't invest backwards, invest in the right things, but in the right order. If you want to go from sporadic paid speaking to a sustainable, systematic paid speaking business.